YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Modified P, and we back with the 2024 BMW M1000rr. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We got mods. Yes, sir, we got modifications on this bike. So today we're gonna go over a list of all the modifications I have on this bike so far, and then we're gonna go down a list of modifications I got put on the bike by a BMW Master Mechanic. I know a lot of people that work on this bike or have mods put on this bike. They either have their friends do it, they do it themselves, but there are some people out there that are mechanically inclined and don't have the knowledge, or they're not brave enough to work on a bike like this. So they wanna take the bike to a mechanic and get the mods put on there, and a lot of people just don't have an idea how much it costs to have mods put on their bike by a master mechanic. So I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what I paid for some of the mods on the bike from a master mechanic. First, we'll start off just by going over all the mods I got on the bike so far. Keep in mind there will be more mods coming. This is just what I got so far. So to start off, we have the numbers on front of the bike. The numbers on the front of the bike did cost me some money. Also, excuse my bike, it's dirty. I kind of live out in the country, and where I ride, it's a lot of bugs. So keeping this bike clean is somewhat hard. But on the front of the bike, we got the numbers. And those numbers are not free. They do cost money, a lot of money, if you ask me. I kind of spoke on the front of this bike a little bit in my last video. You can go ahead and check that out if you get a minute. But yeah, I got the numbers. Also, I have the radiator and coolant guards on this bike. That is something I also had the master mechanic install on the bike for the simple fact the fairings, they were already taking the fairings off to do some other work, so I just had them put those on. I probably could have did those myself, but also for you guys, I was interested in seeing what a master mechanic would charge to put those on a bike. So we got coolant and radiator guards on the bike. Next modification we have on this bike is the windshield. I installed the windshield on this bike myself. It was kind of a pain in the ASS, only because getting this to fit down in these grooves tends to scratch the side of the windshield. I had a few scratches on it. I did fix the scratches. Yeah, installing the windshield on this bike myself for the first time I've ever done it was kind of a pain. But yeah, I have the windshield. I didn't want to go too dark, but I also wanted some type of color to it, so that's just the windshield that I decided to go with. I think it looks good on the bike. We got the windshield. We got the numbers, radiator, cooling guards, windshield. Next, we have the clear clutch cover. A lot of people that have this modification on this specific bike that I've seen, they have the blue one. I wanted to do something different, so I got the red one. So if you're curious or thought about getting the red or the blue, or not really sure, this is what the red one looks like. I don't think I've seen any M1000 with the red one that I've seen. I'm sure there are some out there, but this specifically is the red one. I just wanted to do something different. I also have on this bike the exhaust. The exhaust is the Aero exhaust. It's the full titanium exhaust. As you can see down here, it is starting to blue a little bit. Back out the camera. It is starting to blue. My experience with this exhaust, initially when they first put it on, when you first turn the bike on, the rev was crazy. Extremely loud, almost too loud. It's crazy, literally. It was just extremely loud. Once it settles down and it gets into its normal mode, it's a lot more manageable and I could deal with it. But when you first turn this bike on, that thing's crazy. And then of course I have the tail tidy. I do like the ones that have the lights right here. I didn't go with that one. Initially I went with this one. At some point in time I might end up changing it, but for now, I do like this. I like, it's decent. I have this one. Another mod I have on the bike is a tune. I got a stage 1 tune. The most amazing thing about the tune, initially right off the bat, was the idle, the high rev idle and cold start. When you first turn the bike on, it settles it down so you don't have that screaming crazy exhaust right off the bat. I haven't really rode the bike with the tune yet. I'm about to get on it here in a little bit and kind of see what's to that. But just the fact that it lowered the startup of the bike, the initial cold start rev for me is a lot. That's enough in itself. But yeah, so that's pretty much all the modifications I have on the bike so far. Like I said, I do got some other stuff coming. I want to put some more carbon on the bike, so I'm waiting for a little bit more carbon to come. When it does come, I'll definitely let you guys know and show you those specific modifications. So let's get into which ones were done by a master mechanic and what I was charged by the master mechanic. I'm going to show you guys my receipt, but I'm going to tell you guys right now which ones specifically were done by the master mechanic. The radiator guards. I already explained that. That was done by the Master Mechanic. I had the clear clutch cover, was done by a Master Mechanic. Also, if you remember, in my last video, I explained that I dropped the bike due to the kickstand when I first got this bike, and I ended up spending $5,600 to replace this bottom fairing and also the wing. Replacing the bottom fairing, it didn't come with the graphics on the bottom. So I did have the Master Mechanic put those graphics back on the bottom. I bought the graphics separately and took them to the mechanic, and he put those on there. I went with him putting those on there just because I didn't want to put them on crooked or mess them up. So I probably could have did those, but I did have the Master Mechanic put those stickers, those the graphics on the bottom. He did the graphics on the bottom, the radiator cooling guards, he did the clear clutch cover, and of course he did the exhaust. And he also did the first service on the bike. So the first service, radiator, clear clutch, exhaust, and the graphics on the bike is what the Master Mechanic did. Now I'm gonna get into what he charged me for those things. So this is my receipt, and we can go ahead and look and see what he charged me for everything. So for the first service, let's go ahead and zoom in here. It looks like first service for the oil, filter, crush rings, looks like he charged me $474.56. He what he did on this receipt is he didn't really break up everything separately. He kind of just charged me per hour, which my bike was there all day. So everything's just kind of broke up per hour, except the first service. Everything else is kind of broke up per hour. So we'll flip it over and we'll see what he charged me for everything else. If you look down at the bottom here, he kind of goes into what he actually did do. Down here it shows gasket, clutch cover, and he kind of explains he's charging me for material to do that. And then over here is pretty much everything else. It says installed exhaust, clutch cover, belly pan sticker, and the radiator guard. So total for everything, what he charged me was $1,394.95. Take away the $474.56 for the first service, and that is what I'm assuming I paid to have the BMW Master Mechanic install the mods I have on the bike, which is actually not that bad. That's not crazy expensive. I know Master Mechanics with BMW, they charge a lot of money per hour to do mods on the bike. Any work on anything, they charge a lot of money. So that's not that bad, $1,394.95. And he did everything that I mentioned. One thing also is I tried to have him install the flash on my bike, but considering it's a lot more to the flash than, if you've never done it before, it's a lot more to it than you would think. I never flashed a bike, so for me it was confusing, but there's a lot of waiting. Once you start doing the flash, you have to wait till your account's verified. You have to wait for them to send the flash file over to you, email it to you. That could take 1 or 2 days. So it's kind of hard to have a mechanic flash your bike unless you live close by. I guess you could take it back the next day if you need to wait for some of those files to come through. I've heard of people getting their file within a couple of 20 minutes, an hour, but for me it took over 24 hours. So I ended up just doing the flash myself. It wasn't hard. Once you follow the instructions, there's a few videos online to kind of show you. I couldn't get any, I called a few different mechanics seeing if I could get somebody to flash the bike, only because I'm not familiar with that whole thing. So I was just trying to get somebody who was familiar with it to do it, and nobody would do it. Nobody would touch the flash. You have to do that yourself. As far as a professional mechanic, nobody would do the flash. So doing it myself, of course the handheld costs some money, but you're gonna be stuck probably doing the flash yourself with one of your friends. No master mechanic's probably gonna do that for you. But anyway, those are the mods I have. That's how much I paid to have the bike worked on. More mods will be coming soon. There's a few things that I wanna do to the bike, but other than that, this is your boy, Modified P, signing out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.